You know, Michael, I don't know if you know this about me, but I like Hideo Kojima. I like Metal Gear. I'm really excited for Death Stranding.
But that also describes me, though. So.
Well, hey, there we go. We're doing one of these, hey, we're going to talk about a trailer, which usually we don't talk about trailers because they're 3 minutes long and it's a big action sequence.
And they have, like, nothing to do.
Right. But Death Stranding is always just like, what? Who? What? Where? Huh? And so, also, it's an 8-minute trailer. So we're going to talk about this 8-minute trailer for a few minutes.
Let's talk about the short film Hideo Kojima made here.
That's right. I am Jeff.
I'm Mike.
I don't know if we need to do this. I'm kind of just reverting to podcast form. All right. So we got a new Death Stranding trailer. We're not seeing Sony at E3 this year, but we did get a brand new 8-minute trailer for Death Stranding.
Yes.
There is a lot going on in here. I don't think we're going to break it down moment by moment.
It would take us forever.
It would take a long time, and I just don't know. Everybody can go watch the trailer. So
we're also not the analysts you all probably would want to hear that from.
Yeah, I'm not exactly I don't have any practice doing that shit. So anyway, okay, let's talk about this trailer for a few minutes. There's a lot going on in here. I think that one of the most interesting things about this trailer that needs to be said is I think that we have seen more gameplay out of this trailer than we have from any of the other trailers that came before it.
Oh, no, we've seen more of everything from this trailer than any of the others, to be honest.
Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm getting really, really hefty Metal Gear Solid 5 vibes with the kind of open world walking around.
Oh, no, 100%. Like, everything about the walking around and everything just feels like Metal Gear Solid 5.
The traversal.
In a good way, though.
Yeah.
Like, it reminds me of all the weird shit that I would do in the middle of that game, and I'm just so excited for all of this random shit.
Yeah. It looks like we see this gigantic ladder at one point, which we saw. It's interesting because we saw that ladder in the last trailer from E3 in 2018, but here we actually see the ability to like deploy like pythons. I tell you what I'm really getting as far as vibes off of this goes is like a Breath of the Wild type of thing, where Breath of the Wild where you can like climb anywhere and you're like dealing with the elements, you're dealing with different temperatures. I like the idea of making traversal into something that is a challenge outside of just, it looks like a really, really open world game as opposed to, and not just, when we talk about open world games, I feel like most open world games are very empty. And I kind of like the idea that we're seeing in some of the gameplay here of having to figure out how to traverse a thing, right? Giving you multiple ways, like with the ladder and the python and like climbing down and like going across. Because I feel like the place where you see him put the python in and then like climb down the side of that cliff is almost the same type of terrain that we saw in the 2018 E3 trailer, where he put the ladder across and was like walking across on the ladder.
And there's so much just like there's so much area that you can see that the scanner like scans and everything.
Yeah.
It's just like you can go really far.
And, I feel like in the previous one, there were a lot of people that looked at this and thought that it was going to be like a walking simulator. But we definitely see, the sequence early on in the trailer where, Norman Reedus is getting jacked by some guys in a weird futuristic dune buggy. And they're trying to take his boxes. Everybody's got a box.
You want to know what I just realized the guys look like?
What's
they
that?
Look like those Monsters Incorporated agents because they all wear yellow sticks.
They're just going to be shaped like a snake or something. But like, they're okay. I gotta ask, what's with the boxes? Everybody's got like a suitcase or like a little like a bag or something.
They're all full of Gwyneth Paltrow parts.
Yeah,
probably.
There's just so many heads in boxes.
Exactly.
And like when
you trick the BTs.
we see during during that fight in the outside that like they knock a piece of gear off of Norman Reedus that he has to pick up.
Yeah.
And then when he punches one of those other guys, which by the way, all that to me looks an awful lot like the way that combat rolled in MGS5.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the dodging and the kind of punching and combos. And then he picks up somebody else's suitcase and smashes them in the face with it.
Well, see, that's a new thing.
Yeah,
like, it's definitely like interesting. Like it's not exactly the importance of CQC per se, but it's the importance of fucking using the environment, I think, more.
There just weren't that many guys in the jungles of Metal Gear Solid 3 with briefcases.
Yeah, there just wasn't.
If there was a briefcase, I'm pretty sure the boss would have taken the briefcase away, hit him in the face, opened it up, and thrown all their jammies in their face, and then just, closed their head back into the briefcase. It would have been a whole thing. But,
absolutely. See, what this game needs is more inflatable Norman Reeduses.
I call it CQL, close quarters luggage. No, but I feel like we're seeing a lot here. I'm gonna predict. I'm gonna make some weird predictions here. From the way that I see this looking, it seems like the UI when you're on foot, that there is no UI. That the little thing on your back is like a scanner, and it will point where things are going. And I think that the wristband might be like your health or something like that.
That makes a lot of sense because it's this bright, glowing band.
Yeah,
which would make no real sense when you're trying to hide, kind of thing.
Yeah,
other than being a HUD of some kind.
And then we do see for the briefest of moment we see some actual shooting combat.
Yeah, and it shows the ammo for the gun.
Yeah, it's all
outright.
It comes up, and then earlier on when we see the briefcase being pulled out, it's like there's a UI that pops out. So I like that because if there is going to be a big chunk of this game that is about kind of traversing through the world, like I like the idea. Kojima, like the Fox engine was great at doing this, and it looks like the Decima engine that they're using for this.
Oh yeah,
can also do these kind of like big worlds just full of. Now, the question becomes that in MGS5, there was a lot of times where the world was so goddamn empty that it was just like, well, there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
There's this huge world, but there's nothing to do here.
A lot of bears to punch, that kind of thing.
And that's why I like the idea of making traversal mechanics be in there as well. Like, that moving across the world is going to cost you. Like, one of the things I was mentioning to you is that there are a lot of scenes where it seems like Norman Reedus has a lot of boots.
Yeah, he's got a lot of boots. He also has a lot of different outfits.
Yeah,
I really noticed. Like he's got like at one point just like a hat and some sunglasses on.
Yep. And I wonder about all that stuff. And I wonder, in the E3 2018 trailer, we saw so much foot damage that I'm wondering if you're going to like run out of boots, because like we're looking at one point here where he has 2 pairs of boots on his backpack, but I've seen 3 pairs of boots on his backpack.
He's also got like 3 boxes. Like it's insane how many boxes that thing is.
Dude, there was a part of the so one of the great things about Hideo Kojima is that everything's so goddamn sharp that you can just pause in a 4K video and read the things that are all over people's bodies, like on their uniforms. And on his arms, he's got these brackets that say like max load 200 kilograms. And I'm like, what are you? Oh my God. You're carrying 200 kilograms on each arm and a backpack? No, come on.
It's the future, man.
It's apparently
everyone's firefighter powered.
Apparently. As far as story goes, I mean, like, I know there have been so many different kind of like just theories and little driblets of information. And
it was hard to come up with theories because of how different everything was for each trailer.
Yeah. He did put out a thing before the trailer dropped that talked about in the actual trailer, and it says people have built walls and become accustomed to living in isolation. Death Stranding is a completely new type of action game where the player's goal is to reconnect isolated cities and a fragmented society. All elements, including the story and gameplay, are bound together by the theme of strand or connection. As Sam Porter bridges, you will attempt to bridge these divisions, and in doing so, create new bonds or strands with other players around the globe. Through your experience playing the game, I hope you'll come to understand the true importance of forging connections with others. Now, please enjoy the latest Death Stranding trailer. So here we've got that typical Kojima crazes. You remember when he made Boktai?
Oh yeah,
a game for the Game Boy Advance that had a sunlight sensor in it.
Yeah.
Like, to try to encourage children to go outside and put their Game Boy Advances up into the air to like get more sun into the sun gun.
That picture of is that Norman Reedus? Like
it looks like Norman Reedus.
It looks like a picture that you would get in the mail if you're holding somebody hostage.
We have Norman Reedus.
We have him. If you want The Walking Dead to continue, you would give us $3 million.
Send us advance copies of Death Stranding, and you will get him back. Okay, so we did get some new information as far as characters go. Like we knew about what was it Lindsay whatever from the E3,
yes.
the $6 million woman, but I don't know if we have names for everybody before.
Not really. Well, I think so.
Well, we had
might
Sam
have for Norman Reedus.
For Norman Reedus, and I don't think we knew that Mads Mikkelsen was called Cliff. We knew Fragile, or at least we knew from the last trailer that she has the word fragile written all over her outfits and her
Fragile.
Yeah,
must be Italian.
Mama, who I didn't really get any information in this trailer. Dead Man with who's Guillermo del Toro. Heartman. Okay, there's a lot of mans in here.
There's a lot of Mega Man sounding villain names.
Heartman by Nicholas Winding Refn, who apparently he's the guy that like wrote Drive or something like that. Anyway,
there's Cutman.
Die Hard Man.
Die Hard Man is a great name, by the way. And he looks like Black Mask from fucking Batman.
Yep. And Troy Baker is Higgins. Yep. And Amelie, who is the president, apparently?
Possibly.
There is a lot. There's like a whole world full of people fighting, and there's fish, and there's like World War I guys with skull faces.
And birds turning white. It's fucking crazy.
Like, to list off the things that are in this trailer would make you sound like you were having a seizure, as far as I'm concerned.
I think talking about anything Kojima does sounds like you're having a seizure.
Quick, describe the plot of Metal Gear.
Like, we had a whole conversation about Metal Gear Solid before we started this.
Yep.
That lasted like 2 hours, by the way.
Yep.
That sounded like if you
like the
walked
rantings
in,
of a crazy person.
Yeah, if you walked in and you didn't know it was about Metal Gear, you would have thought we were going to get committed like right afterwards.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of dialogue in here that I feel like you can interpret in a lot of different ways. I'm gonna just say briefly for speculation. It seems to me as though there is a thing that happens at the beginning, and that we are further into the future. The world is broken. We are trying to fix it by walking around.
Yeah.
With suitcases.
We're the postman.
We're the postman. Connecting people, connecting all of the Norman Reeduses of the world. See, you know what? It's all Dark Souls, right? All Metal Gear is now Dark Souls, and my life is complete.
And all of Dark Souls is Metal Gear.
That's right. There appears, at least in my opinion, to be like the regular world that seems like it has, you know, like the guys that are trying to steal his briefcases, and then there's like the weird war world where I think we've only seen Mads Mikkelsen there, except for there's like a beginning and an end where it seems like he's talking to with the bridge babies, which we have a name for now.
In this trailer, I think Mads Mikkelsen's the only one we've seen in it. But there's the Dead Man thing from one of the original trailers of him walking through like Guillermo del Toro walking through.
Oh, right.
Looks like a war zone.
Yeah,
and stuff. So it seems that other people can get into this place.
That's true. That is true. But then we saw Guillermo del Toro and Die Hard Man and Norman Reedus like standing by a corpse.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a whole, because in the very beginning of the thing we see is it Lindsay Wagner? Is that the actress's name?
I think so.
In like as an old lady in like the White House, like in a deathbed.
Are they the same character? I can't even tell anymore.
In the Oval Office as like.
Because she's the president.
Right, and she's the president, and that's the Amelie character. And then I feel like we've seen her a bunch of times, like kind of in the dead world, or whatever it is. And I'm sorry, I know that there's probably been like Lindsay Wagner. Yes, I'm correct. There have been a bunch of interviews where people have been squeezing the little dribs and drabs of what Kojima has to say here.
There's a whole lab dedicated to this somewhere in somebody's basement.
It's it's not a lab. It's just one of those Pepe Silvia walls with all the...
No, it absolutely is. But they call it a lab.
You want to talk about Metal Gear? I got blown the lid right off.
There's no such thing as the Patriots.
That's right. So I go up to Amelie's office. I'm like, Amelie!
The whole goddamn floor's empty.
That's right. It's just dead fish.
No, does Amelie exist? But she's been asking for her mail for like weeks.
She's been asking for her bridge baby this whole time. Anyway, so is there anything that in particular that stood out in this to you that we haven't tracked, or that you
it's
feel
a
like
tough one because there's so much going on in this trailer.
It also doesn't help that we know that Kojima likes to trick us.
No, absolutely.
Like I'm going to say this right now. It is entirely possible that everything we've seen in all of these Death Stranding trailers is in the first 40 minutes of the game. Oh. Let us not forget Metal Gear Solid 2 or The Phantom Pain or there have been a lot of times where, or even the trailers for MGS4, remember how it was all the Middle Eastern level?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's like the first chunk of the game.
Yeah, it's like the first act. He is notorious about not letting you see what's going on. Like
he's mad.
So
mad, I say.
Like making any, I feel like a fool trying to make any kind of prediction because he's waiting for me to do that. He's just waiting for me to do that. And
he knows us.
He's gonna fuck me. Anyway,
it's gonna be great.
I was asking you if there's anything in particular that stood out here to you. There's a lot of little There's
just a lot of little things. Like it's just so many things that you can just make theories based on. Like Matt Mikkelsen talking to what probably is a bridge baby, like just discussing. He's like, yeah, one day the world's gonna be open for you and everything. It's like, but what does that mean? Like. And why are
He says you can go to the moon. Is the last level of this game on the moon?
It's a DuckTales level. No.
You got to fight the wizards and Scrooge on the moon.
You got to get the big fucking whale ship from Final Fantasy IV to go to the moon.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It would not.
It would not surprise me if this game ends on the moon.
You pull it out of your backpack and you go to the moon. A giant ladder.
That whole suit, right? That whole astronaut suit with the thing on the head.
Oh.
Like if that's what happens at the end of this game is that he gets that helmet and puts it onto his existing suit and got to go to the moon and punch Mads Mikkelsen on the moon. I don't know. I mean,
wouldn't be surprised.
Have you ever played Nier Automata? It's not the craziest story I've ever heard in my life.
I played Metal Gear Solid 4 and all those, so yeah.
So
I wouldn't be surprised if every single time you die, it's the river from fucking Metal Gear Solid 3.
It could be that. It could definitely be that. I mean, there's a whole part where they talk about the. This is not what this means. The homo demons, which is
demons.
DEMENS, not demons. It actually means madman in Latin.
It means Mads Mikkelsen.
Right. Which, I mean, Kojima, dude. Don't call them the homo demons. I mean, I know that it doesn't mean that, but damn, guy. I had to turn on subtitles. I didn't know that DEMENS meant something different in Latin.
He's a madman, is the thing.
Yeah.
He's telling the world what he is at this point. He's a homo demon.
He's a homo demon.
We all should have saw it coming. He played us like a damn fiddle.
So, yeah, again, okay, so let's conclude, all right?
What's there to conclude?
Okay, well,
it's the thing. Okay, the trailer, it's so much is the thing. Everything that he wants us, it's a trap.
Yeah.
It's like he wants us to go over this with a fine-tooth comb.
Yep.
Because he knows full well this is probably the first hour of this game.
Or who knows, it could be the last hour of the game. What if he did that?
It might be the middle of the game.
Everything that we're seeing doesn't, that we don't even start this, all that stuff with the president in the bed, and there's this whole shot of Norman Reedus with a sleeveless, a black shirt on. What if there's a whole Metal Gear game that's 8 hours and then you start playing what we've seen in this trailer?
What if the fucking game starts with you just surviving on an island, just nude for 3 hours?
And you got the because remember the first trailer where you got the baby and then the baby disappears.
Exactly. It's what if the game? What if nothing he showed us at all is the game? What if we randomly get the game and it was just a whole other game? Who fucking knows?
That's happened before.
Kojima's a fucking crazy person.
There's no way to know. Okay, so here's what I was gonna say.
I know you listeners are thinking we sound like we've gone mad, but we've been Hideo Kojima fans for a very long time, and he's done this to us multiple times.
You got to be a little crazy, man. Here's what I have to say. This doesn't look like anything I've ever played in my entire life.
No.
The story looks weird. The closest thing that I can think of to the story without referring it to another Metal Gear game would be like what was it Yoko Taro that does Nier? His weird bullshit, right? Because Nier is the story of there was a magical apocalypse, and then they made these clones, and then the clones became people, and it's way in the future, and the monsters are actually the souls of the people who died, who are trying to get their clone bodies back, and they're that's the level of crazy that we're dealing with here, and I love it because there are a lot of games out there, and I love me some video games, and Doom Eternal looks great, but this looks like one of those what?
But this is the thing that everybody who, whenever they're video games art, Hideo Kojima is showing that video games are art in either a good or a bad way, depending on what happens next. Mm-hmm. It's like David Lynch is the only other thing I could compare him to. David Lynch movies are gorgeous, crazy, batshit insane things that happen, but they're so fucking artistic. And Hideo Kojima is the video game equivalent of that.
I feel like what he is he is an auteur, right? But he's also an insane control freak that knows how to make a video game. That's been making video games for like 30 years, like
long
20,
time.
30 years. I mean, like
since MSX time.
Yeah, I mean, the original Metal Gear came out for the NES. I got my NES when I was 10. I'm 41.
Yeah,
like he's been making games for 30 years, and like I think he's like the only one left or like one of the few people that you can point to in this industry, outside of people like maybe like Suda51 or Yoko Taro, who they are like I'm not. My vocal cadence there made it sound like I'm poo-pooing them.
No, but the thing is, he's the only one that you can point at and see the triple A status.
Right.
Like he's like, because Suda51 and them, they're the B movie guys.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Where this is the only time you can point in and be like, this is like triple A title.
There is money in this trailer.
Exactly.
Like just the people that are working on, and not just the actors. That's money right there.
Exactly. Like he's one of the few people you can point at. Like before that, there was a handful of other people and. That they're
like Ken Levine.
Yeah, their
for a
stuff
little while,
slowly went down. Over time. And
Warren Spector, is people who kind of gone out of the limelight. But
and some of the people we used to be able to point at were like very early on in the
like
early
Richard Garriott,
days, like Richard Garriott and all those guys. But they've all sort of gone into obscurity in a way, and like some of them are still trying to make it out there.
Yeah,
but none of them are really like have the pull that Hideo Kojima has.
It's like if somebody gave it's like if somebody gave indie film director James Gunn several $1 million to make a weird space comic book movie. It's weird.
It kind of is.
We don't normally see this level of money thrown at this development. And that is not even to say the most exciting part of this entire trailer, which has nothing to do with Norman Reedus and nothing to do with driving around and nothing to do with Bridge Babies or Mads Mikkelsen. The most exciting thing about this trailer is November 8th of 2019.
It is super like...
Before this year is out, we get to play this game.
That blew my fucking mind. That was the most surprising part.
Every time somebody asks me about this, I'm like, I don't know, 2021 maybe? Like, he spends so long making these games that the idea that this game is almost out is like incredible.
Like if this was an actual E3 presentation, people would have lost their fucking mind.
Hell yeah. Hells to the yeah.
Like people freaked out from Fallout 4 that sort of way.
Yeah.
This shit is on a whole other level, I think.
I mean, it's insane to think that. Well, I mean, when was this announced? Like 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Quite a while ago.
But still, like, I'm used to waiting forever for a Kojima game to come out.
No, absolutely.
So
I'm also used to the commercials and stuff not making any sense. Like, you remember the whole, what the fuck was the dude's name? The dude covered in bandages that they interview is like for the Phantom Pain.
Oh, right.
Before we knew it was Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yep.
He was like, "Oh, you're here to talk about your game," and he's just a dude covered in bandages. You're like, "What the fuck is this?"
And then he took him off, and it was Kojima. Or the way that, like, in the Phantom Pain, that like the Phantom Pain was the name of the game.
Yeah.
And then they found the cuts in the top and put Metal Gear Solid
5
into it, and it was like, oh my god.
And then there was the original trailer, and it's like fire space whales and shit, and you're like, and it had nothing to do with the actual plot when you finally play the game.
First
like,
20 minutes didn't make any fucking sense at all.
Like,
Yeah.
but why though? It's just this is him. And he edited this trailer according to this video still. And I can't fucking wait still.
It looks great.
The more, okay, we all sound like we're crazy people. We sound like we have Stockholm Syndrome in some way, but you have no idea how excited I am for this thing.
I am too, mostly because whether you like Kojima or not, and I know a lot of people who don't like Kojima, and that's fine, I find him at least to be refreshingly original. And I think he's just even if Hideo Kojima agreed to be the game director for a game that somebody else wrote and produced, it would still be like he's a good game maker. It's almost like he's like the opposite of, and with all due respect, he's like the opposite of Suda51. You know, Suda51 has interesting ideas, but he can't really he doesn't make especially compelling video games. But like I look at the way that the movement, it looks like just the act of walking around in this world looks pleasurable all on its own.
Oh no, absolutely.
So the idea of of that, and then some kind of weirdo pseudo story. I don't know. I can't wait, because at least it's something different, right? It's not just like another Resident Evil or another Final Fantasy or
it's another Call of Duty or
another Metal Gear for that. I'm more excited about this than I would be for Metal Gear Solid 6, because as far as I'm concerned, that franchise is done. We just need to be done with it.
Yeah, after Metal Gear Survive, we don't need anything ever again from Metal Gear.
Actually, you know what? I'll back that up a little bit. I'd be willing to put up with Rising 2. If Platinum wants to make Metal Gear Rising Part 2...
I'm totally down with that, actually.
I'm cool with that. But in any case, this looks great. I think it's fair to say that neither one of us can wait.
I'm so fucking excited.
Now that we've ranted on for 30 minutes...
I'm going to kidnap a baby and just strap it to myself.
Don't do that.
And just be like, it's my bridge baby.
Don't do that.
Get away from me, police. It's my bridge baby.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway, let us know what you think of this down in the comments if you wanted to hear more. I can't say that we'll be able to do this because most trailers aren't this interesting, but...
It's going to be a lot rarer than you think.
Yeah.
Like, I think the only other place that comes out with trailers this long and this intricate are Rockstar.
Oh, yeah.
Really bad about, or not bad about it, but they like to do that a lot with, like, when Red Dead 2 had that really long trailer.
And we're not going
to look at all these cool shit.
We're not going to see another one of those
not for a while.
For a while now.
Until we get Grand Theft Auto 6, the Phantom Pain or something.
Yeah. Anyway, tell us what you think down in the comments. Tell us how wrong we are. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go play Metal Gear Solid. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I want to play Metal Gear.